Control your mind. Good morning, afternoon, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something very powerful, controlling your mind. Our mind is like a garden. If we do not take care of it, weeds will grow. But if we control our thoughts and focus on good things, we can grow beautiful flowers. Controlling your mind means choosing what to think about and how to react. We all face challenges, stress, and distractions, but the mind decides how to handle them. When you control your mind, you control your mind, you control your life. You can train your mind by practicing positive thinking, staying calm in difficult times, and not letting negative thoughts take over. It's not always easy, but with patience and practice, it becomes a habit. Remember, your mind is your most valuable tool. Use it wisely, control it, and it will help you achieve your dreams. Thank you. Our mind can be compared to a garden. Just like a garden, which has soil, plants, flowers, and sometimes weeds, our mind has thoughts, ideas, emotions, and sometimes negative or harmful thinking. The way a gardener cares for the garden, choosing which plants to water and which weeds to remove, similarly, we must take care of our thoughts and feelings inside our mind. When a gardener plants good seeds and waters them regularly, the garden becomes full of beautiful flowers and healthy plants. Onto healthy plants. But if the gardener ignores the garden, weeds start growing everywhere, choking the good plants, and eventually the garden becomes untidy and unpleasant. The same thing happens with our mind. If we allow negative or harmful thoughts to grow without control, they take over and affect how we feel, act, and even how we see the world around us. Taking care of our mind means being aware of the thoughts we allow to enter and stay. Every day our mind receives many thoughts, some good, some bad, some helpful, and some harmful. It is very important to recognize these thoughts and decide which ones to focus on. When we choose to focus on positive and encouraging thoughts, we create a mental environment where happiness, confidence, and peace can grow. But if we give too much attention to worries, fears, anger, or sadness, these negative thoughts can grow and make us feel stressed, unhappy, and weak. The soil of the garden represents the basic environment inside our mind, our beliefs, experiences, and habits. Just as good soil is needed for healthy plants to grow, a good mental environment is needed for positive thoughts to thrive. This means we should build strong, positive beliefs about ourselves and the world. For example, believing I can learn and improve is like rich soil where confidence and courage grow. On the other hand, beliefs like I am not good enough are like poor soil where negative thoughts can easily take root. Watering the plants in the garden is like feeding our mind with good experiences, learning, and positive habits. Reading inspiring books, listening to motivating talks, spending time with positive people, practicing gratitude, and engaging in creative activities all help nourish the mind. When we do these things regularly, our mind stays healthy and strong. But what about the weeds? In a garden, weeds grow fast and try to take over if not removed. These weeds represent negative thoughts like fear, jealousy, anger, and self-doubt. If these thoughts are not controlled, they spread quickly and affect all parts of our life. That is why it is important to remove these weeds as soon as we notice them. This can be done by changing our focus, practicing mindfulness, or talking to someone we trust. Another important part of taking care of our mental garden is patience. A garden does not become beautiful overnight. It takes time for plants to grow, flowers to bloom, and fruits to appear. Similarly, our mind needs time and regular care to develop positive habits and clear away negative thoughts. Sometimes we may feel discouraged when negative thoughts come back or when progress seems slow. But just like a gardener who does not give up on the garden during bad weather, we must continue to care for our mind, even during difficult times. We must also remember that different gardens need different care. Some gardens need more sunlight, some more water, and some different kinds of soil. Similarly, each person's mind is unique and may need different types of care. Some people may benefit from meditation, others from exercise, or talking to friends, or learning new skills. It is important to find what works best for us individually to keep our mental garden healthy. In addition, just like a garden can affect the whole environment around it, our mind affects everything in our life. A healthy mind can improve our relationships, work, and overall happiness. When we control our thoughts and nurture positive thinking, we become more peaceful and confident. We make better decisions and handle problems more easily. On the other hand, a mind full of negative thoughts can create tension, fear, and confusion, which affects all areas of life. To sum up this idea, thinking of the mind as a garden helps us understand why it is so important to take care of our thoughts. Just as a gardener chooses what plants to grow and works hard to remove the weeds, we too have the power to control our mind by focusing on good thoughts and removing harmful ones. This care and attention allow us to grow into better, happier, and stronger people. Our thoughts are incredibly powerful because they shape how we see the world, how we feel, and how we behave. But one of the most important things to understand is that we have the ability to choose what we want to think. This means that even though many thoughts come into our mind automatically, we can decide which thoughts to hold on to and which ones to let go. Every day, our mind is flooded with thousands of thoughts, some helpful, some harmful, some neutral. These thoughts can be about our past, present, or future. Sometimes they come from things we hear or see around us. Many thoughts just pop into our head without our control. However, what truly matters is the response we give to these thoughts and how much attention we give them. Imagine your mind as a radio. It receives many channels. Some good music, some static, some news, and some advertisements. You have the power to change the channel or turn the volume up or down. In the same way, when a thought appears in your mind, you can choose to focus on it or switch your attention away. If you learn to control your thoughts, you can select the channels that bring you peace, motivation, and happiness. Choosing your thoughts is not always easy, especially because negative or worrying thoughts tend to be louder and more persistent. For example, when faced with a problem, your mind might immediately start thinking about failure, fear, or what-if scenarios. These thoughts can easily take control and make you feel stressed or anxious. But if you practice control, you can choose to shift your thinking towards solutions, learning, or positive possibilities instead. One practical way to control your thoughts is through awareness. You must first become aware of the thoughts entering your mind. This means noticing them without judgment or reaction. Instead of saying, "Oh no, why am I thinking this?" Simply observe the thought like a cloud passing in the sky. When you become aware of your thoughts, you create a small gap between the thought and your reaction to it. This gap is where you gain control. Once you notice a negative or unhelpful thought, you can choose to let it pass or replace it with a positive or neutral thought. For example, if you think, "I can't do this," you might replace it with, "I will try my best so I can learn from this challenge." This practice of replacing negative thoughts with positive or realistic ones is a powerful way to control what you think. Another way to control your thoughts is by setting your mind intentionally every day. This can be done through habits like morning affirmations, meditation, or journaling. Affirmations are positive statements you repeat to yourself, such as "I am confident" or "I am capable." When you say these statements regularly, you train your mind to focus on positive ideas. Meditation helps by calming your mind and increasing your awareness of your thoughts. Journaling allows you to write down your thoughts, which helps you understand and manage them better. It is also important to be careful about what you allow into your mind from outside sources. The people you spend time with, the media you watch, and the environment you live in all influence your thoughts. Surrounding yourself with positive, encouraging people and content helps your mind stay focused on good thoughts. On the other hand, if you constantly expose yourself to negativity or criticism, it becomes harder to control your thoughts. Controlling your thoughts also means being patient with yourself. Sometimes negative thoughts will appear even when you don't want them. This is natural because our mind has habits and patterns formed over many years. Changing these habits takes time and practice. The important thing is to keep choosing positive thoughts and not give up when you notice your mind slipping into negativity. When you practice controlling your thoughts, you will notice many benefits. You will feel calmer because you are not overwhelmed by worries. You will become more confident because you focus on your strengths and possibilities. Your decisions will improve because you think clearly instead of being confused by fear or doubt. And most importantly, controlling your thoughts helps you take control of your emotions and actions. This ability to choose your thoughts also gives you freedom. You no longer become a prisoner of automatic or negative thinking. Instead, you become the master of your mind. You decide what kind of day you want to have, how you want to feel, and what kind of person you want to be. This power can change your life in ways you may never have imagined. To practice controlling your thoughts, start small. Notice your thoughts for a few minutes each day. When you catch yourself thinking something negative or unhelpful, gently guide your mind to a better thought. With time, this will become easier and more natural. Like exercising a muscle, the more you practice, the stronger your mental control becomes. Remember, your mind is a tool, and you are the user. By choosing your thoughts carefully, you use this tool to build a better, happier, and more peaceful life. Our mind plays a very important role in how we react to different situations in life. When something unexpected or difficult happens, the first response often comes from our mind. It is the mind that decides whether we become angry, scared, worried, or calm and collected. Understanding that the mind controls our reactions gives us a great power. The power to stay calm even when things are not going well. When we face challenges or problems, our natural tendency might be to react immediately. For example, if someone says something hurtful, our mind may make us feel angry or upset, and we might respond without thinking. Or if we are in a stressful situation, like a test or a problem at work, the mind might fill us with fear or panic. These reactions happen very fast and often without our control, because our mind is used to reacting quickly for survival. However, if we learn how to control these reactions, we can handle difficult situations in a better way. Staying calm in difficult situations does not mean ignoring the problem or pretending it does not exist. It means controlling our emotional response so that we can think clearly and act wisely. When we react with anger or fear, our judgment becomes clouded, and we may make decisions that cause more problems. But when we stay calm, our mind works better to find solutions, communicate well, and make thoughtful choices. One reason the mind reacts quickly is because of the fight or flight response. This is a natural biological reaction to danger. When the brain senses a threat, it prepares the body to either fight or run away. This response was very useful in the past when people faced real physical dangers, like wild animals. Today, even though most threats are not physical, this automatic reaction still happens in stressful moments, like arguments, pressure at work, or personal conflicts. This is why sometimes we feel a sudden rush of anger or fear without fully understanding why. Yeah. The key to controlling our reactions is to train the mind to pause before responding. This pause can be very short, even a few seconds, but it makes a big difference. During this pause, instead of reacting automatically, we give ourselves a moment to breathe, think, and choose how to respond. This simple practice helps calm the mind and body. It allows us to respond with patience, kindness, or clear thinking instead of reacting with anger or panic. Breathing is a very useful tool to help us stay calm. When we feel stressed or upset, our breathing becomes fast and shallow. But if we consciously take slow, deep breaths, it sends a message to our brain that we are safe. This helps reduce the fight or flight reaction and brings calmness. Practicing deep breathing during difficult moments is one of the easiest and most effective ways to control our reactions. Another way to stay calm is by changing the way we look at problems. Often, our reaction depends on how we interpret a situation. For example, if we think, "This is a disaster, I can't handle it," we feel overwhelmed and anxious. But if we think, "This is a challenge I can learn from," our mind becomes more positive and calm. Changing our perspective helps control emotions and reactions because the mind responds to our thoughts. Mindfulness and meditation are also powerful methods to help control reactions. Mindfulness means paying full attention to the present moment without judgment. When we practice mindfulness regularly, we become more aware of our thoughts and feelings as they arise. This awareness helps us notice when we start to feel angry or stressed, so we can use our pause and breathing techniques before reacting. Meditation trains the mind to be calm and focused, reducing the intensity of emotional reactions over time. It is important to understand that staying calm is a skill, and like any skill, it requires practice. Sometimes we might lose control and react strongly despite our efforts. This is normal and part of being human. What matters is to learn from these moments and keep practicing calmness for the future. When we control our reactions and stay calm, we improve not only our own well-being, but also our relationships with others. People appreciate calmness because it helps solve conflicts peacefully and builds trust. Solve conflicts peacefully and builds trust. Leaders, teachers, and successful people often highlight the importance of staying calm in tough situations because it allows clear thinking and better decision making. Our mind is the commander of our actions. When it is calm and clear, our actions are wise and effective. When it is chaotic and stressed, our actions may cause more problems. By learning to control our reactions, we take control of our life. We become stronger and more peaceful inside, no matter what challenges come our way. Positive thinking is a powerful tool that can change the way we experience life. When we practice positive thinking, we train our mind to focus on good, helpful, and hopeful thoughts instead of negative and harmful ones. This practice does not mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it means choosing to see the opportunities and solutions rather than only the difficulties. By focusing on positive thoughts, we build strength, confidence, and happiness. Our mind is like a spotlight. It shines on whatever we focus on and makes it bigger. If we focus on problems, worries, and fears, these issues grow larger and seem harder to handle. But if we focus on good things, our mind finds reasons to be happy, motivated, and hopeful. Positive thinking helps us see the bright side of life and encourages us to keep going even when times are tough. One reason positive thinking is so important is because of the connection between our thoughts and emotions. Feelings. Thoughts influence feeling. When we think positive thoughts, our brain releases chemicals like serotonin and dopamine that make us feel good. On the other hand, negative thoughts can create stress hormones that make us feel anxious or sad. This means our thoughts have a direct impact on our mood and overall mental health. Practicing positive thinking starts with being aware of our current thought patterns. Many people develop habits of negative thinking without realizing it. For example, we might often think, "I can't do this," or "nothing ever goes right for me." These negative thoughts become automatic and affect how we feel and act. The first step is to notice these negative thoughts and challenge them. Ask yourself, is this thought really true? Is there another way to look at this situation? Replacing negative thoughts with positive ones is the next step. For example, instead of saying, "I will fail," say, "I will do my best and learn from this." This simple change in language can have a big impact on how your mind works. Positive affirmations, short, encouraging statements repeated daily, help train the mind to focus on strengths and possibilities. Examples include, "I am capable," "I deserve happiness," or "Every day is a new opportunity." Gratitude is closely linked to positive thinking. When we focus on what we are thankful for, our mind naturally shifts to positive thoughts. Keeping a gratitude journal, where you write down things you appreciate every day, helps build a habit of positivity. It can be simple things like a sunny day, a kind word from a friend, or a meal you enjoyed. Over time, this practice makes it easier to find good things in everyday life. Surrounding yourself with positivity also supports this mindset. The people we spend time with, the books we read, the music we listen to, and the media we consume all influence our thoughts. Positive and inspiring environments encourage positive thinking. If we constantly expose ourselves to negativity, such as constant complaining, criticism, or bad news, it becomes harder to stay positive. Choosing friends and environments that lift us up can help us maintain a healthy mental state. Another important aspect is to focus on solutions rather than problems. When faced with challenges, a positive thinker asks, "What can I do?" or "How can I improve this?" instead of dwelling on what went wrong. This proactive approach helps keep the mind focused on growth and progress, which leads to better results and less stress. Practicing positive thinking also helps in relationships. When we think positively about others, we tend to be more patient, understanding, and forgiving. This creates stronger and happier connections. It also attracts positive people to us, creating a supportive network around us. It is natural to sometimes feel negative or discouraged, especially during hard times. Positive thinking does not mean ignoring these feelings. It means acknowledging them, but choosing not to let them control your mind. It is okay to feel sad or frustrated, but after that, try to return to positive and hopeful thoughts. Developing positive thinking takes time and consistent effort. It is like exercising a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it becomes. When you train your mind to focus on good and helpful thoughts, it becomes easier to stay optimistic and motivated. In daily life, you can practice positive thinking by starting your day with positive affirmations, taking moments to appreciate good things, challenging negative thoughts, and surrounding yourself with encouraging people and environments. Over time, this practice changes how you experience life, making you more resilient and joyful. Negative thoughts are like a heavy burden on our mind. They drain our energy, lower our confidence, and cloud our judgment. If we allow negative thoughts to take over our mind, they affect every part of our life, our emotions, actions, relationships, and even physical health. Therefore, it is very important to recognize negative thoughts and learn how to avoid letting them control us. Negative thoughts often appear automatically and without warning. Sometimes they come from fear or worry about the future, sometimes from regrets or guilt about the past, and sometimes from self-doubt or harsh criticism. These thoughts can be very powerful because they often make us feel bad about ourselves or the situation we are in. For example, thoughts like I am not good enough, and nothing will work out, or I always fail are common negative thoughts that can trap us in a cycle of sadness or anxiety. One of the first steps to avoid negative thoughts is to become aware of them. Many times, we don't even notice when our mind is full of negativity. We just feel stressed, sad, or angry, but don't know why. By paying attention to our thoughts, we can catch the negative ones early before they grow stronger. This awareness is like shining a light on the dark corners of our mind, helping us see what needs to be changed. Once we are aware of negative thoughts, the next step is to question them. Often, negative thoughts are not based on facts, but on assumptions or fears. For example, if you think, I will fail, ask yourself, is this really true? What evidence do I have? Have I succeeded in similar situations before? Challenging negative thoughts helps weaken their power and opens the door for more realistic and positive thinking. Another way to avoid negativity is to limit exposure to negative influences. The people we spend time with, the news we watch, and the content we consume all affect our thinking. If we surround ourselves with pessimistic people who constantly complain or criticize, their negativity can influence our mind. Similarly, watching too much negative news or social media can fill our mind with fear and hopelessness. Choosing positive and supportive environments helps protect our mind from unnecessary negativity. Practicing self-compassion is also key to avoiding negative thoughts. Sometimes negativity comes from being too harsh on ourselves. We criticize ourselves for mistakes or compare ourselves unfairly to others. Learning to be kind to ourselves, forgiving our errors, and recognizing our efforts helps reduce negative self-talk. It is also helpful to replace negative thoughts with positive or neutral ones. This does not mean pretending everything is perfect, but rather focusing on what is helpful or true. For example, instead of thinking, I always fail, try, sometimes I make mistakes, but I learn and improve. This shift in thinking changes how we feel and act, moving us away from hopelessness towards hope and motivation. Mindfulness and meditation can be powerful tools to reduce negative thinking. Mindfulness teaches us to observe our thoughts without judgment and to bring our attention back to the present moment. This helps prevent us from getting stuck in negative thought patterns about the past or future. Meditation calms the mind and reduces stress, making it easier to manage negativity. Engaging in activities that bring joy and fulfillment also helps keep negative thoughts away. When we are busy doing things we love or spending time with people who make us happy, our mind has less space for negativity. Hobbies, exercise, volunteering, or learning new skills are great ways to boost our mood and focus on positive experiences. It is important to understand that completely avoiding negative thoughts is not always possible or even healthy. Sometimes, negative thoughts signal that something needs attention or change. The key is not to let these thoughts control your mind or overwhelm you. Instead, acknowledge them, learn from them, and then gently redirect your focus to more positive and constructive thoughts. Avoiding negative thoughts is a continuous process. It requires patience, practice, and self-awareness. By protecting your mind from negativity, you create a mental environment where confidence, peace, and happiness can grow. Over time, this practice helps you build resilience and face life's challenges with a stronger and clearer mind. Training your mind daily is essential if you want to gain control over it and live a peaceful, focused, and successful life. Just like your body needs regular exercise to stay healthy and strong, your mind also needs daily training to develop the power to control thoughts, emotions, and reactions. Without consistent practice, the mind tends to wander, get distracted, and fall back into old habits of negative thinking, stress, or confusion. Making mind control a regular habit ensures that you build mental strength gradually and maintain it throughout your life. The mind is naturally restless. It is always busy thinking, planning, worrying, or remembering. This constant activity can lead to mental fatigue, stress, and lack of focus. When you start training your mind daily, you create a space to calm this activity and bring clarity. This training involves practicing techniques such as meditation, mindfulness, affirmations, and focused breathing regularly. These practices help you learn how to observe your thoughts without getting lost in them, choose which thoughts to follow, and let go of distractions. One of the most effective ways to train your mind is through meditation. Meditation is a simple practice where you sit quietly and pay attention to your breath or a single point of focus. When thoughts come as they naturally will, you gently bring your attention back without frustration. Doing this daily, even for just 5 to 10 minutes, strengthens your mind's ability to focus and remain calm under pressure. Over time, meditation improves concentration, reduces anxiety, and helps you gain better control over your reactions and emotions. Mindfulness is another powerful tool for daily mind training. Mindfulness means being fully present in whatever you are doing without judgment or distraction. Whether you are eating, walking, or talking to someone, practicing mindfulness trains your brain to stay in the present moment. This habit helps reduce negative thinking, worry, and regrets because you are not lost in past memories or future fears. It builds mental discipline, making it easier to control your mind in stressful situations. Self-talk are also important daily exercises. Repeating positive statements about yourself and your abilities rewires your brain to think more optimistically. For example, saying, "I am calm and confident," every morning can influence how you feel and act throughout the day. The repetition helps create new mental habits that replace old negative patterns. When done regularly, affirmations become automatic thoughts that uplift and motivate you. In addition to formal practices like meditation and affirmations, simple daily habits can help train your mind. These include setting clear intentions for the day, focusing on one task at a time, taking regular breaks to relax, and reflecting on your thoughts and emotions in a journal. Writing down your thoughts each day helps you understand your mental patterns and notice when negativity or distraction begins to take over. This awareness allows you to correct course and reinforce positive thinking. Consistency is the key to effective mind training. It's better to practice a little every day than to do a lot once in a while. Daily training creates momentum and builds a foundation that supports all areas of your life. Even on busy or difficult days, spending a few minutes on mind training exercises can keep you grounded and focused. Over time, these small daily efforts add up to significant mental strength and peace. Training your mind daily also means learning to be patient and gentle with yourself. The mind is complex, and control does not come instantly. You will face days when your mind is restless or negative thoughts dominate. Instead of getting frustrated or giving up, acknowledge these challenges as part of the learning process. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and keep practicing with kindness and determination. Another important aspect of daily mind training is developing self-discipline. Controlling the mind requires commitment and effort, especially when distractions or temptations arise. By sticking to your daily practice, you strengthen your willpower and build the habit of mental control. This discipline often carries over into other areas of life, such as work, relationships, and personal goals, helping you become more focused and successful. The benefits of training your mind daily extend beyond mental clarity and peace. A well-trained mind improves your physical health by reducing stress, which lowers blood pressure and strengthens the immune system. It enhances your creativity and problem-solving skills by allowing you to think clearly and calmly. It also deepens your relationships because you respond more thoughtfully and listen more attentively to others. Making mind training a regular habit transforms how you live. Instead of being controlled by automatic reactions and wandering thoughts, you become the master of your mind. You develop the ability to focus on what truly matters, stay calm in challenges, and cultivate happiness from within. This daily practice is a lifelong journey, but every step forward brings you closer to freedom, strength, and inner peace. So remember, controlling your mind is not about stopping thoughts or emotions. It's about training yourself to choose the thoughts that serve you best. When you learn to manage your mind, you gain control over your life, your happiness, and your success. Start practicing today, be patient with yourself, and watch how your world begins to change. If you found this speech helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring content. Also, leave a comment below about how you plan to take control of your mind or any challenges you face with it. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and remember, your mind is powerful, but you are more powerful. Stay strong, stay positive, and see you in the next video.